All right. I'm awake, I promise. No, I am, Nate. I really am.
It's all a dream.
Within a dream.
Within a dream. It's all a dream.
Ooh, are we doing voice exercises with dreams?
Sure. Just saying stuff and enunciating.
Dreams are
enunciation.
Dreams are a product.
Is that how the professionals do it?
Of
I'll have to ask some.
Imagination and a conspiracy by the government.
It's Commander Time! Welcome to Commander Time! We are yet another podcast about the Magic the Gathering format known as Commander. I'm Nate Burgess.
I'm Dean Goody.
And I'm Patrick Cipolla.
Today we are talking about some decks that can be vaguely associated with Halloween. Then we might talk about some games we played, what our pets have been doing, and maybe a goofy song. But first, also in the Halloween theme, I just had an article a couple weeks ago on a Jason Voorhees build of Marcel the Pretender. Because it was Friday the 13th.
Nice. Dun, 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 dun. No, wait, that's not.
Yeah.
I don't. No, that's Powerhouse. Oh, there we go.
I like Patrick's revamped song. It's a mashup of Inspector Gadget and Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. I'd like to hear the full version of that.
Give me a few weeks so I can learn how to use a MIDI keyboard.
Dun 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 dun. I. Dun 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 dun. I.
Oh, I need to do a quick special thanks to Henry, by the way.
Thanks to Henry.
Oh, yeah. I had to sneakily get your address for Henry.
And a special thanks to Henry Stukenborg for a Paradox engine. It just showed up in the mail. Thanks, Henry.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a birthday present for me.
Cool.
Yeah. I think it might end up in Gonti. Because everything ends up in Gonti one way or another.
Gonti takes everything.
He only the most luxurious of paradoxes for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we'll talk about, and Patrick chose this category, the top prettiest card of Ixalan.
You make it sound like it's a silly idea. This is argued by lots of people all over the place. What is the prettiest of the pretty cards?
And I think we have objective, hard evidence for these to weigh in on this discussion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Our opinions.
And as evidence for this hard science of picking the prettiest picture, I've chosen Legion's Judgment.
Legion's Judgment. Let's take a look.
So what does that do, Patrick?
It's like an okay card. It's actually not great. It's 2 and a white for sorcery. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. It would be pretty good at instant speed, but it's not great as is. The card itself is whatever, but the picture itself has a lot going on, and it's very nice.
Is that vampire zapping that dinosaur in the neck with a laser lance?
Yeah, it's sort of like St. George and the Dragon, except it's neither St. George nor a dragon.
Yeah, it's a dinosaur, a flying dinosaur. That's not a dragon, because it has feathers.
It's kind of like the 2017 version of a 1980s heavy metal album cover.
See, now, this is where I get to geek out a little bit. In about, 10 years ago, I was an art student. And so I actually really appreciate the amount of effort of positioning and flow that the artist put into the piece, and the colors are pop really nice. So I actually really like this piece of art.
Yeah, there's a lot of triangles in the composition, and the laser lance is making your eye move over there. And
and you can follow the laser lance like beam go up the neck and out the eye, and then that can cause you to kind of swirl around on it. Your eye never quite stops moving because it's always getting pulled into a new direction. It's very nice.
Yeah, and it looks good too.
All right, Dean, what's your pick?
So my pick is also a white card. Priest of the Awakening Sun. This is fine if you're playing dinos, I guess. It's the 1 white for a 1/1 human cleric. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal a dinosaur card from your hand if you do gain 2 life. And you can pay 3 white to sack it and find a dinosaur and put it in your hand. So it's fine for a dinosaur deck, but that art is just sweet. It's some dude standing in front of a giant blazing sun with 2 like raptors coming out from behind him, and he's got all these like glowing emblems on his body and stuff.
No, that's really good, but it also looks like he might be in the middle of a music video.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's why I chose it.
Okay. And I am choosing Duskborn Sky Marcher. It's a single white vampire cleric. It's got flying. He can pay a white and tap it. Target attacking vampire gets +1/1 until end of turn. But it's a pretty vampire lady looking to the left. So lady's looking left. If you zoom in, it looks like she's an elvish vampire. She's got pointy ear.
I think vampires in this world have pointy ears.
Okay.
It's not just her.
She's standing in front of like this sunset over the mountains, and her clothes are made of smoke and wispy silk stuff. But still, classy.
I like it too. The colorization is really nice. It reflects the fact that it's still a white card, despite being a vampire, which I imagine is pretty difficult for a lot of these artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nate, you chose a card art by one of my favorite magic artists, actually, Seb McKinnon. He does these really cool, like, I don't know, gothic horror kind of arts. He did a bunch of the cards for our most recent trip to Innistrad.
And a close second, I think we can all agree, to Encampment Keeper, because he's a cute little puppy. Yes, he is.
Absolutely, Patrick.
Mm-hmm. I would pet that dog.
Is that drool? Are those ropes of drool?
No, he's chained up, but he does have drool.
We all chose white cards. I guess my runner-up non-white card would be Jade Guardian. Because that's a cool card. It's got all the jade floating around his body, protecting him from the arrows.
I was very tempted to pick about any of the lands in the set, too. They're all pretty fantastic.
Yeah, but they got Jace in them.
Yeah.
That's not bad. This Jace is actually tolerable in this set.
You mean sexy
For
Jace?
now.
Sexy Jace. Everybody likes sexy Jace.
All right, moving on to the topic of the week, I suppose.
The main topic. All right. Halloween stuff. We're doing Halloween decks. So this time I'm going to talk about witches. Mystical ladies who may or may not be slightly insane. So there are creatures with the word witch in their name in all colors. They're mostly in black. They span the occupations of shamans, wizards, spell shapers, and clerics. So a while back, I had a Marin of Clan Nel Toth shaman tribal deck that cast a lot of curses in black, mostly in black. There was one green one at the time.
I remember that deck.
Yeah.
I like that deck when you choose Dean a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a good deck mainly because, not because of the curses, but mainly because it was a Marin deck, and it was also shaman tribal, and shamans are pretty strong in green and black.
And Marin is just strong in general.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And it was mainly a Marin deck, but it had pretty strong Shaman in there too. And the curses were just a bonus.
Well, I don't know. I remember one game where you had like 7 or 8 curses attached to me. Your curses were what killed me one game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they were just bonus. They were a bonusy win con.
Yeah, but in most cases, they're only going to be a win con against one other player. And you have to figure some other way to kill everybody else. There are some ways to get around that, though. So, for a curse theme deck, if you're doing a witch theme where they cast curses on your opponents, you can do that in any 2 to 3 colors or most of the 4-color permutations by using partners. And so some of the partners I'll talk about. So in black is the best color for curses. It has the most curses. It also has Bitterheart Witch and Accursed Witch. Both of those are shaman who have witch in the name, and they do something with curses.
There's also Bog Brew Witch. Yeah. You can jam in the 3-color or the 3-card combo. Bog Brew Witch, Festering Newt, and the Cauldron.
But those are terrible, though. Bitterheart Witch is 4 and a black human shaman, 1/2 with Death Touch. It's a shaman with Death Touch, and oh, by the way, Thornbite Staff goes well with shaman who have Death Touch. When Bitterheart Witch dies, you may search your library for a curse and just put it onto the battlefield, attached to target player. Usually that's going to be Curse of Misfortunes, which is a curse that lets you tutor up more curses. And there's Accursed Witch, which is 3 and a black human shaman, 4/2. Spells your opponent's cast that target Accursed Witch costs 1 less to cast. And when Accursed Witch dies, return it to the battlefield transformed under your control, attached to target opponent. It turns into Infectious Curse. Enchantment or a curse. Enchant player. Spells you cast that target enchanted player cost 1 less to cast, so it makes it a little easier to cast more curses on them. And at the beginning of enchanter's player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So if you're going to do curses in black, you can use Timna the Weaver, or Vile Smasher the Fierce is actually female in the lore. And even though it's a berserker, I think Vile Smasher's witchy.
Oh, definitely.
She brews potions.
Yeah, and throws them and they blow up. If you're doing red, if you want to have red, I think that's the second best color for curses. You can have Tana the Bloodsower. She's out in the woods all by herself doing crazy stuff with plants. And Vile Smasher again. I think in red, the best 2 curses are Curse of Opulence, which makes gold tokens for you and whoever attacks whoever you cursed, and Curse of Bloodletting, which does double damage. If you want to have blue curses, Kaideli Chosen of Crufix's mystical lady who's probably crazy. There's Curse of Verbosity, which lets you draw cards whenever somebody's attacked. Curse of Echoes, which I think Patrick would like, which is basically a hive mind just for 1 player's instant and sorceries.
Yeah, I do like it. If I can, I just need to get more copies of other people's spells. That just makes me happy.
That card has good art too. Curse of Echoes. It's got like crazy ghost things.
It's like pressure waves coming out of his head.
But yeah.
And Fraying Sanity if you're doing a mill deck. If you're not doing a mill deck, then don't use Fraying Sanity.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're probably just helping somebody if you're not going to mill them out.
Yep.
Or if they're one of those people who hates getting milled, you're just pissing them off.
Yeah.
In green, there's Tana the Bloodsower again, or Kaideli. There aren't that many great curses in green. I would say Curse of Bounty is probably pretty good, especially if you have some instants that you want to play on other people's turns. And overall, I think if you want to have Enchantress support, so Enchantress creatures that when you cast an enchantment, you get to draw a card, that's usually a good support strategy if you're doing curses.
Mm-hmm.
And in white, if you want to do white curses, Timna the Weaver, again. And the best curses, in my opinion, are Curse of Exhaustion, which is 2 white, enchant player. They can't cast more than 1 spell each turn, so quit doing stuff. And Overwhelming Splendor, 6 white, enchant player. Their creatures lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1, and they can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities.
That one's just mean.
Yeah, that one. I almost had enough mana to cast it. Well, I almost had 2 white mana to cast it, but I only had 1.
That would have made me really sad.
I wonder who you would have attached to and why it would have been Patrick.
Because he had all the creatures that they were big and doing stuff. Also, in white, there's some Enchantress support there. But more importantly, there's Enchantment Recursion and Blinking. Because if you're doing a curse deck, you want to have a way at some point to get all the curses off the field and back on the field to retarget them onto another player. So you can do that with things like Replenish after a Paraceline. You cast Paraceline, destroy all enchantments, and then cast Replenish and bring them all back and give them a new target. Something like that. Or ways to blink individual curses. Return them back to your hand or just blink them. And there are ways to do that in white. There might be a few ways to do that in blue, too.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that pretty much covers it.
I like that. This was like a fun update for your original green-black deck with the inclusion of more curses, which are always fun.
Yeah. I think of redoing it, I don't think the Timna and Tana is the best combination. I think I would probably go with Vile Smasher and Kaideli, actually.
You would cut white out?
Yeah. It wasn't doing that much for me.
I mean, the real big pull for white is going to be Overwhelming Splendor and the enchantment recursion.
Yeah.
But
I think I want to try the blue methods of blinking instead of the white methods.
yeah, that seems a little bit better. Because if somebody dies, you blink it instead of it just staying there. Because it's attached to a player, it never, dies.
Yeah.
And you can run copy enchantment.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
You should do copy enchantment.
Oh. Get more double up. Yeah.
Yeah.
For a mere 3 mana.
Or a clever impersonator.
Both.
Yeah. Now, everybody has a Curse of Misfortunes.
Except for you.
Except for you. Unless you want one.
But why?
I don't know. Johnny shenanigan reasons?
Okay.
It could happen, Patrick. It could happen.
I'll accept it now.
All right, Dean, so what'd you do?
Yeah, next up. I built, or rather just played my Grenzo trick-or-treat deck. Grenzo is kind of like, I don't know, the ultimate Halloween commander for me in that regard, because he goes around and knocks on everybody's door and either gets a treat by stealing the top card of their library or tricks them by making them attack other people for
And
him.
this is Grenzo Havoc Raiser, not Dungeon Warden.
Correct. Yes. So he's a 2/2 for red, and whenever a creature you control connects with an opponent, you either get to go to creature that they control or exile the top card of their library, and you can cast that card till the end of the turn. So this deck is, my particular build is kind of Goblin Tribal-y. I am running a fair number of Goblins, and of course, Krenko for Super Turbo Goblin shenanigans. And then I'm running a couple of evasive things, like that card that I can't think of the name of, Bedlam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just says no creatures can block, which isn't really a problem for you because you just force all the creatures to attack other people and sit back and watch the world burn.
Yeah.
So it's like your whole deck is Disrupt Decorum.
Yeah, that's the idea. Disrupt Decorum, and then once you sort of have control of combat for everybody else, you just start stealing all the cards off the top of their deck. Didn't really work in our game, but that is the idea.
Well, you did do it. You just couldn't cast most of the things off the top of our decks.
Yeah, but I never really got the evasion that I wanted.
Hmm.
So Red has, of course, the standard board wipes like Blasphemous Act and stuff like that, but Red doesn't really have like one-sided board wipes. So I threw in Aligned Hedron Network to get rid of all my opponent's big creatures and leave all my goblins around. And I'm also running Oblivion Sower for all that exile overlapping synergy, where Grenzo exiles all those cards, but he can't actually cast or play the lands that he exiles. Oblivion Sower lets you do that.
And it ramps you.
Yeah, it gets you all those lands that you exiled.
Not this time, but the time before this that I last faced off against your Grenzo deck, you went infinite combat steps.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in a different episode. I used Breath of Fury. So that's an aura that you put on a creature, and then after it deals combat damage to an opponent, you can sacrifice the creature to untap everything else and take another combat step, and then you attach the Breath of Fury to something else. I think I was using Handwear Garrison, so whenever it attacked, it made more tokens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Breath of Fury just kept on going on the new tokens, and I think I didn't actually have a haste enabler, so I didn't actually go infinite, but I took quite a few combats.
You took enough combats.
Enough combats. It was
enough for both of us to just concede and just go, we're done now.
Yeah. I need to stop underestimating Grenzo Havoc Raiser decks.
He's good. I would say that he doesn't always get underestimated because I played games where he ended up costing me like 14 mana to cast.
Gotta kill him.
Doing the math real quick. That's 6 times he was removed.
At least, yeah.
Most commanders aren't cast that many times in a game.
I've done it once.
Yeah, eventually you usually just kind of give up, but not Grenzo.
No, with Yeleva, it's a win condition.
That's true. Yeah, you end up probably sacrificing her and stuff like that just so you can do it again.
Yeah, because everybody exiles the number of cards based on how much mana you spent. And if you keep doing that, then nobody has cards.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the win con? to mill people out with Yeleva?
It was once.
Oh my.
And he's been trying to do that ever since, once again.
I assume you must have actually achieved it a couple times?
Yeah. I did once. It killed 2 different players.
That's actually super impressive. Good show, Nate. Bravo.
Yay.
All right, Patrick, what did you make?
I made a clones tribal deck because they just want to be whoever you are. They're the annoying friend who finds out what you're going to be for Halloween and then shows up at your doorstep as that.
How dare they?
Yeah, I know.
They're all just wearing costumes.
Yeah, they're all wearing costumes. Each and every single one of them except for a few of them in the deck. Because, God forbid, you play against 2 creatureless decks or 3 creatureless decks and you have nothing to clone and all of these 0/0s are just dead.
Well, you could always clone your commanders.
You could, but then they die.
Not if you're running Mirror Gallery like a good clone player.
You know, I hadn't thought of it that far ahead.
Yeah, maybe, just turn off the legendary rule. And
I mean, I guess that's pretty good with Progenitor Mimic, too.
It's a mere $20 at the moment.
Yeah. I still don't suggest it. It doesn't suit... There's a better way to build your deck. And I think I found it. No, I think I found it. I'm being for reals. So first of all, I just want to say that there are a couple of lands that clone. That's at Vesuva and Thespian stage. So, I had to put those in. It was just a bonus that Thespian stage also taps for colorless. And we'll see why when we get to my win condition on this deck. That is, like my planned win condition and not just turning sideways like ended up happening. And here's the thing that I remembered about Battle for Zendikar block, Deceiver of Form. This is a 7 mana 8/8 Eldrazi.
Mm-hmm.
It turns your whole board into clones of the top card of your library if it's a creature. The game plan is to fill my graveyard with a whole bunch of shapeshifters, play Patriarch's Bidding to get all my clones back, and I don't really care what I choose to get back, just so long as they stick around and live. And then we play Deceiver of Form, and at combat, we somehow get Blightsteel Colossus on top of my library. And then I have a whole board of Blightsteel Colossuses that I can then turn sideways and kill people with. Infect damage out of nowhere.
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
How do you get Blightsteel Colossus on top of your library?
Well, Vampiric Tutor would be a good way. Imperial Tutor also works. You can brainstorm it there. I also have Vorath's Stronghold to put it there.
Mortuary Mire?
Yeah, Mortuary Mire. These are all options. You could also just be very lucky.
Oh, wait, that doesn't work. Mortuary Mire and Volrath's Stronghold, because it shuffles in once it goes to your graveyard, right?
Yeah, it's a replacement effect, so Vorath's Stronghold doesn't do it. But I do have other targets outside of Blightsteel Colossus that we can put on top that can presumably end games. Let's see, probably my favorite is Void Winnower. I mean, that's just an 11/9, so that's just going to hit a lot of people in the face. And it's just a hard block on some decks where they're playing even mana costs.
Even mana cost tribal. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd be surprised at how often that just stops people and they just look at their hand and they look at Void Winnower and they're like, okay, I hope I draw Doom Oh, man. Okay, I hope I draw Damnation. Oh, man. Okay, I got nothing. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I like Deceiver of Form. It's kind of like a hidden commander that you want to build your deck around it. I think I might have put it in Rakdos Lord of Riots at some point because it's full of big Eldrazi.
Yeah, you just have to make sure it's not a legendary creature that you're putting on top or having them do. Luckily, it's a May effect. The only other problem with having this as like a win condition is that it kind of warps your entire land base so that you can produce colorless mana because you have to be able to cast it. So, yeah. So the land base is kind of, it hurts a lot until you can tutor up, something that makes it not hurt a lot, like Chromatic Lantern or enough basics so you don't have to tap them for color.
Yeah, I think I have enough utility lands usually that I can get colorless mana. Or the filter lands can be colorless.
Filter lands are fantastic for that.
Yeah.
The pain lands are fine also in a pinch.
Oh yeah, those two.
Yep, that's why it hurts. It's because they tap and they hurt you. I mean, I was at like 20 life during most of those games with you guys because I was trying to hit all of my ramp spells and things like that to stop hurting so much. So yeah, that was my deck. I was actually pretty excited to see if I could pull off the Deceiver of Form combo, but a little Grenzo came along and exiled the top 4 cards of my library, which included my Blightsteel.
Oh man,
yeah.
Dean did it.
Yeah, it was Dean. I'm not gonna deny that it was Dean because it was Dean.
Hey, you ended up with a Grenzo yourself there, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, evil twin. does work.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's transition into our last game here. I could talk about that evil twin.
Mm-hmm. Our last game.
I got to use Besmirch as a kill spell. Patrick cloned my Grenzo with evil twin, and so I cast Besmirch, gaining control of his evil twin until the end of the turn, and then I sacrificed it to the legend rule. It was pretty funny.
That made me really sad.
But come on, that was a pretty cool thing.
No, that was a very good use of the rules, Dean.
I basically used it as a murder.
Mm-hmm. A 3-mana murder.
Just like the regular murder. That's also 3 mana.
A 3-mana Doomblade.
Yeah.
Who were your commanders?
Well, Dean had
Grenzo.
Grenzo. I had Vile Smasher the Fierce and Thrasios Triton Hero.
Oh.
I chose Thrasios because 4 colors mana to ramp me or draw me is pretty fantastic for this deck. It's kind of hard to hit all your colors, and if you can't hurt yourself anymore, you can at least still spend that mana to scry one and then maybe get some lands out that you can not hurt yourself to cast things. So that's kind of the reason why I went with those over running Yidris.
Yeah, I saw an earlier list for this build, and I think you were running Yidris, right?
Yeah. I also discovered that when I was running Yidris, I just wanted to cascade instead of actually cast like anything. So that kind of took away from the point of the deck.
So why did you choose your colors instead of just a blue and one other color commander?
If you want to get all of the clones, you got to be all 4 colors.
Ooh.
That is the only reason.
So there are no clones in blue-white.
Or white.
Well, okay.
I mean, just, yeah.
Well, most clones are in blue or blue something, right?
Yeah, well, they're all, blue X, as it is a blue ability, but, yeah. There's only one red one, and there's like 3 or 4 blue-black ones. And there's like 2 or 3 in blue-green. So it is a base blue deck, but opening yourself up to all those other colors are really nice too.
So there are some shapeshifters in white, but they don't actually turn into something else.
No.
Okay.
Patrick, which clone is the best, and why is it stunt double?
I don't think stunt double is the best. Wait, that's the Flash one.
Take that back.
No,
yes, that is the Flash one.
Progenitor Mimic is probably better. So is Phyrexian Metamorph. And
Clever Impersonator.
Clever Impersonator
is very good.
I mean, Phantasmal Image also has a pretty big bid on the best clone. So it's pretty good. It's a strictly better clone.
How about Lazav or Sakashima?
Yeah, I forgot about Sakashima. Because it wasn't a shapeshifter.
Yeah, she's a...
ninja.
Rogue? No, she's not a ninja.
Just pretending. It's the imposter. Oh no, Mersil pretends. Sakashima imposts.
She's a human rogue. Yeah, you're right. Or he. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It's a she, I believe, according to the lore. Fun fact, you can have her come into play as a 3/1 with no abilities.
Oh, you may choose a creature.
I don't know why you would, but you could.
Oh.
You're on a diplomatic mission.
No, you're just slumming. You know, you're not dressing up for the occasion. You're just showing up as you are. Hey, what's up? I'm Sakashima.
I mean, she looks like she's got a costume on there. She's just going to come as herself.
I think that's her work clothes, though.
Wouldn't her work clothes be whatever you're wearing?
Well, she's got all the masks there because, you know, she doesn't know who she's going to meet and so she's got to pull one of the masks out.
That's reasonable.
She could impost anyone at any moment.
So, any interesting plays you remember, Nate? Nate? Yeah.
I almost had enough mana for Overwhelming Splendor. I also almost had enough mana for Achroma's Vengeance to get rid of all your stuff, but that's a even costed mana spell, so I couldn't cast it.
Yeah. Void Winnower won me that game at the end of that.
Void Winnower!
Yeah, you guys killed me off. I won't say early, but first.
Well, you kept not dying, Dean. And you kept stealing our stuff.
I was trying real hard. I kept on goading Nate's stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, you would goad his stuff into my stuff.
Well, Nate kept on cursing me and attacking me to make himself some zombies, so I had to make those zombies go do other things than attack me.
At least they did something.
Yeah, they kind of, by the end there, they were just kind of running up against Patrick's giant creatures and dying, though.
Ah, that's fine. They get to turn sideways.
Fair enough.
That's the one thing I will say about having a clone deck, is that it scales with every part of the game except for the first 4 land drops. Because you can't really do anything with your 4 mana clones in your hand in the first part of the game until there's things to do with it.
Indeed. Well, I guess you could cast Sakashima as a 3-1 with no abilities, but...
Yeah, there's a handful of clones that are cheaper than 4, but you're not likely to have them early game.
I like Cryptoplasm.
But that's only 1 mana cheaper.
Yeah, but it comes down turn 3. Come on.
All right. And pets update.
The pets update.
Go, Patrick. What's your pets update?
Oh, because I have a new job, my dog is going to have to go to daycare every day again. And
whoa, hold on. You have a new job?
Yeah, I have a new job.
Woo!
Woo! My month of unemployment has ended. And I'm now going to be doing some very mindless UPC Googling.
What?
You're a real boy.
What does that mean?
Yeah, the UPC codes for items in like stores and stuff?
Like the barcodes?
Yeah.
Okay.
This company needs me to Google all 30,000 items that they have.
Okay.
One at a time?
Yeah.
So, you Google the barcodes? Or you Google the items and get the barcode?
I mean, I will find just the barcodes as far as I know. There's a little bit more to it, but the majority of my time is going to be spent doing that.
All right.
So, what's Talon doing while you're doing these things?
He's going to be in daycare, and he hasn't been going to daycare daily since June, and he is going to be exhausted. Like he goes like twice a week, and he's already like, and we took him 3 times last week, and it was almost too much for him. Like he would whine, like, we're going back? No, don't do it to me.
He's going to be doggone tired.
Oof. Finally, Dean is getting into the dad jokes.
Finally. I don't know. I think I've been there for a while.
Been there, dog that.
Yeah, just wait till you're I guess you're a doggy dad. Didn't you have that bread pun war with Rebecca for like 8 hours straight or something one time?
Yeah. Well, it was hard not to go to sleep without thinking of another one. So you just say it.
To get it out of your brain?
Yeah. And then you tried to go to sleep, but then Rebecca would say another one, waking you up, and then one would pop into your head. It's a vicious cycle.
It sounds like it. It sounds terrible. All right. For my pet update, Miri is losing some of her vacation weight. So over the summer, we went on vacation for a week, and we left her with a big bowl of food, and when we came back, it was all gone, but I don't know. She must have eaten it all in like a day or something, because she put on like all the weight. She became a fat kitty. But now, I don't know. Maybe she's getting more exercise. She has been running around the house more. She's got like a skinnier neck and just a little bit less corpulent right now.
My cats are going the other way.
Oh my goodness, they're getting fatter?
They're no longer kitten-sized. And the smaller ones actually kind of got a belly now.
At least it's still fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, those are our pet updates. You can tweet your pet updates to us at @commandtime. And if you don't have a pet, maybe you live in Texas and you want to adopt Panda, who is super cute.
She's a pit bull terrier and a senior doggy, so you don't have to puppy train her because she's 7 years old and she's adorable.
Yep.
Looks very friendly.
She's a sweet lady who just wants to be loved and get some attention. And, she's got a mothering attitude.
So probably very good with children.
It says her favorite pastime is taking short walks and eating. I think eating is one of my favorite pastimes.
Short walks are the best kind of walks for me and a dog. I don't like the long ones.
Low energy dogs are the best kind of dog because
Exactly.
Because then you don't have to exude more energy than you have.
Sounds like you and Talon got matched with the right dog and owner.
That's like one of the laws of thermodynamics.
It's like the opposite of a perpetual motion machine.
Man, you guys, did you hear about me going off with Paradox Engine?
Yeah. I did.
It was you and Dana from Commander Central, right?
Yeah. So I try really hard to remember what's going on my board at any given time, but when I have a new card in a deck, I kind of forget that I cast it or that it's even a possibility. So when Paradox Engine was on there, I was like, sweet, I finally resolved Paradox Engine. All my problems are solved. And then I promptly forget that I have Paradox Engine on the board. And so I start casting things, and then after I would cast something, I would go, oh, right, I need to tap all of my mana rocks, and then, untap them because of reasons, and then I would, completely stop being able to plan out my turns because I would have to stop in the middle of my thoughts and do the tapping and untapping and tapping and the untapping, and it was pretty miserable for me to actually do it in person because everybody had to watch me struggle to work with the Paradox Engine. So
yeah, if you're not planning on comboing off right away with the Paradox Engine, it can get pretty dirtily. Even if you are planning on comboing off with Paradox Engine right away, it can get pretty dirtily.
Yeah, you have to demonstrate a loop in order for it to really work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you put a new card in and it changes things, you do need to practice with it. Just goldfish a few times and helps you remember how to use it.
Yeah. I thought I could handle it, but the answer was no, I couldn't handle it. So I guess that goes into the books of I'm not nearly as of a tight of player in person as I like to think I am. So that's I'm going to try to fix that.
Yeah, just practice.
Yeah.
Practice. If you want to practice with us, you can hit us up on the Facebooks or on the Twitters. We could start up a game.
Yeah, we're all there.
Often.
Mostly.
Yep.
Looking at you, Nate.
Tweet. Visit us at patreon.com/commandertime.
You can find me on Twitter at Grubfellow.
At Detective Yarmits.
At Mr. Plorg.